So Bryn has been the project leader for the Resource Conservation District of Tehama County for the last year and doing an excellent work there. So, Bryn, tell us who your audience is that you prepared this for today.
Sure. I'll be addressing the Tehama County Farm Bureau. Our area is ag intensive, so this group of people is important to reach out to, especially for our economic viability. And folks in the audience, I hope are listening would be large-scale ag with connections to reps in the capital.
Okay. And what specifically would you like to result from this?
Right. I would like the ag community to have a greater awareness of that the practices on their landscape not only affect our community, but folks downstream, and for agriculture to reassess the practices that they do.
Okay. Very good. And so let's have a couple of folks in the audience who can be thinking from a particular point of view. Morgan, would you like to be a downstream community member? Someone from Sacramento?
Sure.
Who has come up to attend this Farm Bureau meeting?
Okay, great.
And Donna, would you be willing to be, how about, usually the Farm Bureau is pretty well politically connected. Let's say you're a county commissioner.
Okay.
And then if we have time, Nikki, if you would represent a local farmer.
Sure.
Question? That'd be great. Okay. So welcome, Bryn. Delighted to hear your presentation today on behalf of the Resource Conservation District of Tehama County. So we're looking forward to your presentation. I'll hand it over to you.
Great. Thank you all for being here. My name is Bryn Greer. I'm the Watershed Coordinator for the Resource Conservation District of Tehama County. And yes, that is a mouthful, so I'm the RCD from here on out. I've had about 7 years experience in the realm of natural resource management and have spent the last year in an intensive process examining forests and water resources locally and figuring out approaches to resiliency. And my computer is performing slowly. So these are our natural assets, quite beautiful really, up here in Tehama County. And our natural areas offer more than just a collection of aesthetically pleasing pictures. Our ag lands, much like our forest lands, provide valuable water services and capturing, filtering, and storing, as well as providing a time-release capability for surface and groundwater. Clearly, there is value in preserving the beneficial ecological function of these natural areas and the working landscapes that they are. Our ag industry here is producing walnuts, almonds, olives, and prunes, truly for the world, as well as rangeland beef. We are not the only ones who benefit from our natural capital, as downstream communities are as well. This map connects rural Tehama County to the north with urban Sacramento to the south through the Sacramento River specifically as our common thread. Land use practices that occur upstream as well as land cover type play a role in water quality and water quantity for local consumption as well as the region as a whole. So the concept of local climate readiness in reality really does expand to the entire region. And as growers, you're always the first to recognize changes in weather conditions. We've experienced extreme patterns already, such as prolonged drought, catastrophic wildfire, and for this reason, the Resource Conservation District has started a facilitation process. We started earlier this year in developing a forest and water resource resiliency framework. And so we've reached out to quite a few public entities, mostly locally, as well as the local government commission, which is based in Sacramento. And these are the beginning groups of the steering committee, and we all recognize that natural resources are already under stress throughout our forests and water realms. So we have a greater risk to catastrophic wildfire in our high elevations, as well as an increase in pest and pathogen outbreaks. We have high impact forest management to deal with through clear-cut harvesting. And in our foothills and riparian zones, we have conversion to ag and urban use. Water resources, the demand has increased significantly and really do rely on groundwater here, as well as competing with invasive plant species for the valuable resource. And we're really not doing ourselves any favors with inefficient use of water. So these issues are compounded by climate change effects that we're already experiencing, such as less precipitation as snow and more as rain. This is projected to be the new norm. This is a NOAA image. On the left, it's 2013, and the image on the right is 2014 of the Sierra Nevada range. It's of the same exact day, 2 different years, and clearly we have less snowpack in our Sierra Nevadas. This really is a key area for the hydrology throughout the state, and will have a greater reliance on groundwater without having that surface water runoff. In addition to more rain, we're experiencing prolonged dry conditions and moisture deficits and higher heat days. This chart is looking at trends in cumulative groundwater loss, starting with the early 60s on the top left and flowing through time to 2013 to the right. The white columns in background represent dry years, whereas the blue represent wet years. And clearly we've been getting by on our groundwater reserves during those dry years. We're all dipping into the collective savings account. We're withdrawing faster than we're able to deposit. This graph shows that we're extracting groundwater at a rate that surpasses nature's ability to replenish this. This is real. This is now. This is happening, for example, west of Corning. This is happening in Tehama County. We're extracting groundwater at a rate that surpasses nature's ability to replenish it. Relying on this groundwater is clearly not sustainable. This is an image graph on trends in maximum mean temperatures, where the projected maximum mean temperature in year 2050 through 2074 is in red, and the blue is in the past, so 1950 to 2005. So given that these bars do not overlap, suggests the changes are significant in our temperature. The impact would be stress on crops and livestock, with yet another mechanism driving greater water requirements. In addition, the higher heat days will alter chilling hours, and we've already had measurable decreases between 1950 and 2000, as you can see on the 2 left side maps there. And the number of chilling hours is projected to occur by 30 to 60% by 2050. And the impact, of course, is an increase in disease and pests, altering bloom times, and an increase in water demand. So we're already observing changes in precipitation, in percentage of precipitation. Heavy precipitation means less groundwater recharge and increased competitive species interaction, and impacts can be detrimental, and we already have a taste of what's to come. So it's really important that we connect our valley ag with what's going on up in the forest. It's really our water security relies on the systems of our natural assets, and forest vegetation cover does influence water supply. We need to re-examine our ecosystem services to make sure we remain viable here. So a community-wide resiliency strategy would be capitalizing on our natural assets by optimizing ecosystem services that occur on all lands. Ecosystem services are the things we get from the processes that occur naturally, that we can't create ourselves, like air, water, and minerals and such. So our range and savanna and grasslands function as filters removing contaminants to improve water quality. They're crucial in flood control and provide high biodiversity. Our beautiful oak woodlands offer regulating services such as water storage through the soil, and also influence stream flows, and our riparian buffers reduce in-stream sediment loads, nitrate runoff, and limit bank erosion. We also want to reassess our ag practices. This is a resiliency strategy, and really re-examining the expansion of the ag industry for our economic viability of the county is at stake. We're clearly using more water than what nature is able to sustain us with, and our production actions are if we live in a wet climate. So we need to be more viable. And in doing so, growers may want to reconsider using surface water and relying on that source. Nut growers may want to explore chilling hour varieties or shifts in new crops that are less water intensive. And our cattle ranchers may want to explore the value in intensive grazing practices, which are environmentally sensitive areas respond very well. And of course, water conservation, and to implement irrigation efficiencies. Because not only does your bottom line, your business rely on resiliency, but the community locally as well as downstream urban users rely on it too. So making sure that the whole Sacramento watershed is invested in this community effort is crucial. And the RCD is already engaged in ag resiliency with our mobile irrigation lab and looking at aligning carbon sequestration on rangeland soil health. We are looking for partners in the ag community to, first off, optimize our natural systems on ag lands, showcase the methods you're already undertaking to safeguard natural systems, and identify funding support for conservation practices you're already undertaking from downstream users. Invest in your work. That's what the vision we have that folks downstream would value. You're not just raising burgers. We're not just creating almond butter, right? You're nurturing the ecosystem services for the benefits of many, and compensation for it would be very much appreciated since we are connected regionally. I look forward to discussing this concept with you further, and if you have any questions, I can help field them now.
All right. Thank you very much, Bryn. So let's start with a question from an interested downstream water user in Sacramento. Morgan, do you have a question for us?
Yeah. So I see on your slide it says identify funding support from downstream users. But if the water has already gone through Tehama County by the time it gets to me, why should I have to conserve and pay for it?
Because the communities, that's a great question. Thank you, first of all, for making the trek up here. I hope you enjoyed the drive. Tehama County, the actual landscape, as you notice, we're very much rural, and that is of value to you because it provides water quality opportunities, so that by the time the precipitation falls here locally, we have best management practices to ensure that while the water is here in our county, it remains in its purest fashion to be sent to you.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Good question. Nikki, from a farmer standpoint, any question you would like to ask of Fran?
Okay, so like as a farmer, I do notice that things are different. I notice things are changing, just over my personal experience, but when I hear the term climate change, I cringe politically. That's not where I am. And so I'm really wary of somebody telling me like what my best practices are. Like, why should I, kind of buy into what you're talking about here?
Sure. Thank you for bringing that up. I know you're not the only one with that thought in this room. What we find is that when the soil of your land is functioning in its ideal state, it not only helps with your bottom line and producing valuable products, but it also provides a larger benefit to the community. And so it's a lot like buying a cookie from the store versus making your own batch, right? You get far more benefits from cooking it in your own kitchen. You heat the house and it smells wonderful, and you end up having more friends at the end than you initially thought you'd ever have. And so it's doing good by your own soil, it's doing good by your own community, and it's doing good for the whole of the watershed.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. Excellent responses. I am going to keep us moving, and thank you for having a question, Donna, and maybe we can get back to it at the end when we have a little more time for comments. Excellent presentation, Bryn. Thank you.
Thank you all. Drive safe.
We will do that.